Hare Krishna. Lord Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita 6.28 and the verse thereafter the realizations of a yogi who has attained the highest level of realization. Yunyam evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmasa Sukhana Brahma samsparsam atyantam sukham ashnute. So we have that word here. Vigata, free from kalmasa, all material contamination. The yogi who is free from all material contamination, he can relish the highest state of happiness. Translation is as follows. Thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, he becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. So first one must become free from material contamination, and then one will attain this high happiness. And Srila Prabhupada translates the perfect happiness in transcendental service to the Lord. So purification throughout the Bhagavad Gita is mentioned a few times. But what is material contamination? That Queen Kunti, she describes in 8:28-26 prayers of Queen Kunti. Sonmashvara Shvatashva Edamana Vadampna Naivrat Abidatum Tvai Tvama Kinshana Kulchara. She speaks about 4 kinds of material contamination. That she prays, my dear Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. When on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So these 4 contaminations that so in the word for word translation, the word mada is used, intoxication. That's interesting. Material intoxication. And the first is respectable parentage. Thinking that, I took birth in a good family. My country is the best. The place where I live is the best. That some pride about one's ancestors and one's people, one's culture. So that's the first obstacle. By that, we identify ourselves as the citizen of or resident of a certain country, and we feel related to that culture, which we feel is the best. That these are bodily designations, and that helps us to create a false ego, an identity different from our real self. And then one becomes attached to opulence, that to get as much as possible, as opulence as possible, so that one can enjoy life. That so then one thinks oneself a rich person, that if one gains respectability, especially in Kali Yuga, because respectability in Kali Yuga means have a lot of money, then you can enjoy, and being attached to that. Another intoxication is high education, thinking oneself better than the others because I'm educated, that I'm doctor this or professor that, and I'm an engineer. So many false designations come from that. One is attached to one's title, to one's position. And another intoxication, in dimensions, is bodily beauty. This is very temporary. Few years and then it goes. That it's good from the outside. But what with the beauty of the organs in the body, if we look at these beauties without skin, we get a different idea, coming from contact with the reality. So, Vinkunti says that good birth, wealth, high education and beauty are material intoxications. And they prevent us to pray to the Lord feelingly, to approach the Lord with sincere feelings. If one is too much attached to things in this world, one cannot become attached to Krishna. It's not going together. And one must give up this attachment. You have the 10th offense against the holy name, to maintain attached, material attached even after receiving so many instructions on that matter. So that's an obstacle to make spiritual advancement, because these attachments, they strengthen our false ego. And by that we become more and more absorbed in the duality, that is good, that is bad. That so good, having good education and being rich and beauty, that's good. That's because it gives us profit, that's all. Profit for the body, not for the soul. Very temporary. If we are attached to that, we cannot make spiritual progress. But how to give up this material attachment? That so we must want to give it up. Otherwise, it's difficult to sincerely engage in devotional service. Devotional service means selfless service. But if you remain selfish, then how are you going to come to that level of being selfless? Selfless service and selfishness go ill together. But the question is, yes, how do we give them up? Because giving them up means purification of the heart. In 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there the divine qualities are described. That abhaya, sattva, samstudir, they are the first two, fearlessness and purification of one's existence. So that's a divine quality. A devotee acts always for his purification. That That's also mentioned in the 5th chapter, verse 12, that there it said the yogi acts always with body, mind and words for purification of one's existence. That so how do we do that? That first, by hearing, we learn by hearing. First class is a man who hears that stealing is bad and he refrains from stealing. Second class is a man must hear and he sees someone arrested from stealing, and then he refrains from stealing. And the third class is he hears that stealing is bad, he sees that someone is arrested, and then he must be arrested first to give it up. That's the hard way of learning. That so best to take the easy way of learning, and not to go life after life and after life and experience this frustration. Just hear from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And Kelly, we will, by repeatedly hearing from devotees with realizations, we will start to understand the futility of material life. But one must hear regularly. That is very important. That, and secondly, one must practice devotional service, especially the hearing, the chanting, and the remembering. Constant engagement in devotional service. Then Lord Krishna will purify you from within the heart. That, so by that, Shaldi we make progress, and that constant devotional service and that regular hearing will help us to give up this material attachment step by step. And we will come one day that our heart is nearly pure. And when heart is pure, then devotional service will lead to the experience of transcendental pleasure. Pleasure which is beyond our imagination. That does not mean that if the heart is contaminated, that you don't get pleasure from your devotional service. At least it will give us satisfaction, devotional service itself. And the great bliss and ecstasy will come when we are purified. But the devotee is not interested in that ecstasy. He just wants to serve the Lord and give everything to the Lord unconditionally. And then he feels great satisfaction. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Prabhupada.